Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Nebraska libero Lexi Rodriguez has been named a finalist for the AVCA National Player of the Year Award, which will be announced on Friday. Rodriguez is 9 digs away from breaking Olympic medalist Justine Wong-Orente's Husker volleyball record of 1890 digs. The NBA Cup Championship is tonight as the Milwaukee Bucks face off with the Oklahoma City Thunder in Las Vegas. Tip-off is at 7:30 on ABC. The New York Yankees acquired former MVP Cody Bellinger today. The outfielder had a .266 batting average with 18 home runs and adds Gold Glove defense to the Bronx. The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl is tonight as the number 25 Memphis Tigers clash with the West Virginia Mountaineers. Kickoff is at 8 on ESPN. In top 25 men's college basketball action tonight, North Carolina travels to face number 7 Florida. Number 20 Michigan State plays Oakland, number 22 Dayton hosts UNLV, and South Carolina faces number 25 Clemson. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Coming up next is Hour 1 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Lexi sails it. Pass made Franklin, the slide. Robinson, block back! Goal the Grandkids! They did it! Nebraska sweeps Wisconsin for the 3rd time this season. And hello, Louisville! The Big Red back where it belongs. The Final Four, number 18 in school history.
Morgan, he hands it back to Wooster. Faces up against his defender, Rice. Top of the circle, hands it off to Williams. Long 3 on the way. Bang! 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 Bryce Williams, another 3 with 4:15 to go, and that opens up a 8-point lead, 75-67. How about that 3?
On the right side, quarter court, Kiefer throws it directly underneath. Anya with 2 seconds. Steal. Widener at the buzzer. The layup at the buzzer is good. Widener got the steal and the score. And the Huskers in the 3rd quarter with an Allison Widener strip, steal, and layup. And the Huskers lead it 44-30.
Now, here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Good evening. Welcome to our Tuesday edition of Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. Hope you had a good day today. It was traveling day today, or it is about to be traveling day today as the Husker volleyball team ready to board their charter flight to head to Louisville and the Final Four, hoping to bring back another national championship. Fun time. It's kind of compressed, Jess, because they just wrapped up the regional on Sunday. Turn right around and go in 48 hours, but that's kind of life in a tournament like this.
Yeah, and that's what we chatted with Lauren about last week. It's kind of the positives that go along with the negatives, right? I mean, it's a great exposure. Every single match was on the ESPN platforms, and that was the only thing that was on. And so all day, every day, you could watch volleyball. Everybody got their time in the spotlight, and then, of course, Nebraska was on ABC. So it's a great opportunity to continue to grow the sport, grow the exposure. But as Lauren pointed out, the teams that play on Sunday got the one less day of prep and travel and practice and all of that. And so the teams that qualified on Saturday had that extra day. But here we are, you take what they give you, and the Huskers will, because of the way, again, everything kind of laid out, they requested to travel late, so they'll practice here in Lincoln and then get on the flight and head to Louisville, and just in time to basically get to the hotel, have a team meeting, and go to bed. And then tomorrow's that day that it is crazy. A lot going on. You have to practice, and then you've got all of the car wash media interviews, and you go to the ESPN broadcast and all that. So it's a busy, busy day tomorrow. There's a lot of hoopla, obviously, that surrounds these things. And it's really for all the sports when you get to this point, it is like this. And that's part of what's fun about, having this experience. But yeah, a little bit, I feel like last year when we went, we left in the morning, and then went. But with the way that, again, they chose to do things, they wanted to be able to practice at home, and then they'll get on the court for the first time tomorrow. I was looking at some TV numbers from today. ESPN said they basically doubled their numbers from a year ago for volleyball. Yeah, which is great. I mean, it's a fun sport to watch, and I think the more people tune into it and see it, the more they realize, hey, it's fun to watch. You know, I should also point out, too, the Huskers do have a little bit of an advantage to where they've played at the KMC Yum Center. So, you know, they've been there, 2 times this year, right? Yeah. And so they have a little bit more of an advantage. So maybe why they wanted to take the extra day here at home, because they have the feel for Louisville, and they've been in there twice. So I think will absolutely be beneficial for the Huskers that they've already been in that building twice. The lights are sometimes different. We've heard Lauren talk about when you're setting. Sometimes that's different. You have to adjust to that. Just all the different things when you're playing in a building of this magnitude and in an arena like this. The Huskers have experienced it twice this year, so that should hopefully bode well for them. It did come out today, looking ahead to next year. We talked about football moving to Arrowhead last night. The AVCA First Serve Showcase is going to be in Lincoln, August 22nd and 24th at PBA, not Devaney. The field is not set, but it's going to be the cream of the cream. This will be unbelievable volleyball to start next year. Yeah, I love it. And I love that Coach Cook is now open to maybe having some matches inside PBA. You know, I mean, just give fans an opportunity. More fans. You know, more fans an opportunity to be able to see this team in action. And you want to keep Devaney. Obviously, there's a lot of benefits to Devaney. Nebraska owns that building. You're not sharing it. You're not having to rent it. And, you know, just the unbelievable atmosphere that is there, that's been built there, and the history there. But, you know, a few matches here or there throughout the season sprinkled in to be able to really have a huge crowd and allow as many fans as possible to see this team. Because, as we heard Josiah Alec talking about last night, he said, I, you know, kind of took it for granted a little bit because, you know, my sister puts me on the ticket list, but how many people come up to me asking me for tickets that they've been waiting for years to be able to get tickets? Yeah. So put it on your calendar, folks, August 22nd and 24th. First Serve Showcase, PBA. Tickets will go on sale down the road. They'll have more information about that later. Also today from the AVCA, which is the overriding body that oversees volleyball, they named their 4 finalists for Player of the Year, and a little made the finalists. Our very own Lexi Rodriguez. She probably won't win it. I think she should. But what a great honor for her as a libero to be one of the 4 finalists. It is time for that ceiling to bust. You know, it is time. And Lexi Rodriguez is the player to do it. You know what? As much as we've said this, that those numbers statistically on the offensive side of things for the Big Ten Player of the Year, the Huskers just are so, they have so many weapons that it's spread out. And they don't, that is an emphasis for their offense. For Bergen Riley to spread it around. They don't want to get so dependent on just one player. They want to spread it out. And then you have different players that shine on any given night. But there's one person that shines every single night. It's Lexi Rodriguez. And she had a heck of a weekend over these past 2 days, or the last 2 games on a national stage. So maybe that will help her cause a little bit, because she played unbelievable. She got a lot of love, a lot of attention. Maybe, I don't know, when was the voting complete? Don't know. Before or after that? You would hope that they would have waited till like yesterday or today. That's what I'm saying. If I know it's a discussion every year with the Heisman, just wait. You don't need to send it 3 weeks before the end of the season. Wait to see how these players play on the biggest stages to make your vote. Lexi Rodriguez shined on the biggest stage so far this season, and so she got a lot of love, a lot of publicity last week. Hopefully, if there were some voters left, they maybe push them in the direction of Lexi Rodriguez. The other finalists, Pitt, Olivia Babcock, great player, Brooklyn DeLay from Kentucky, who got knocked out last weekend, and Sarah Franklin from Wisconsin, who was the Big Ten Player of the Year. Those are the 4. I'm with you. It's time to knock down that barrier that a libero cannot win Player of the Year. She's the one. She's the poster child for that award. Yeah, and, you know, we've seen, too, a lot of those national analysts. I mean, Emily Eamon came out, which I'm hoping to catch up with her again, too. Yeah, good. She did a good job in the regional. She was great, yeah. And, you know, she had said that Lexi Rodriguez is the best player in college volleyball. So, you know, when you have some big voices in the sport that are echoing those sentiments, that certainly will help, too. So I don't know why there's, you know, Lauren always talks about it, that those the liberos don't win those awards, and I don't know why. Especially someone like Lexi, who's been she has been a pillar on this team for 4 years. And I know that they don't take it into consideration, but then you talk about the job that she's done as a leader for this team. Captain, helping this team navigate just the last 2 seasons. It's been a lot of pressure, a lot of ebbs and flows, ups and downs. And so I know it doesn't factor in, but it should. But her play alone on the court. I don't know why that. Obviously, I'm not a volleyball player. I don't understand. To me, it's if she's the best player, she's the best player.
Well, I think there's a stigma about not being a 6 rotation player because she does come out.
Yeah.
When they go to the front line or her turn to roll up, she has to come out. So maybe that's a stigma that some voters can't get past. But I'm with you. I hope she gets it done. Talked about the AVCA First Serve Showcase. Tickets went on sale today for the game at Arrowhead. And there was a huge snafu, I guess, this morning. The wrong ticket code went out this morning. It's been a bit of a cluster. I think they've got it corrected by now. But if you tried early today to go get tickets and were unsuccessul, go back now. I think they've got it ironed out.
I have a group of friends that got 9 tickets, so
really?
I think they got it worked out.
Good.
So, like I told you yesterday when it was announced, there's quite a few Husker fans that were like, hey, let's go down there. It's a great atmosphere. So I know that I know of a group of people that were able to get tickets. Good. So hopefully if you didn't get them originally, you kept trying and it got worked out.
I saw some of our folks from our sales division. They said, oh, it was messy. We were getting calls all morning. People going, it doesn't work. The code's not right. But I think they got the code corrected.
Oh, that's not always, that's not ideal.
No, not ideal. Hey, the Huskers got a portal addition today in football. Jalen George, defensive lineman from East Tennessee State, all-conference. He makes the 3rd portal addition for Matt Rule. So we've lost some linemen, defensive linemen. Good to get Jalen George, all-conference, all-Southern Conference defensive lineman, good numbers. And there's so many out there. You can pick and choose. So this is obviously a guy Nebraska wanted. They brought him on campus. He was blown away by the Osborne complex, which why wouldn't you? But, we focus so much on who's leaving, and we talked about Dante last night. It's good to be able to say, hey, we got one coming in. Yeah.
And, I think it's pretty it's encouraging, too, the fact that some of those guys like a Cam Linhart seems to be that he's staying put. Riley Van Poppel has been a guy that Coach Rule has mentioned.
Elijah Judy said he's coming back.
Yes. So you've got a pretty good group of those core guys. Then you add some of those guys, some experienced guys from the portal to go along because you want to have, Searles preaches about it all the time. You're going to hear him talk about it, just the importance of the depth on both lines. And you can't expect a guy like Riley Van Poppel to play 60, 70 snaps a game. So, you need to have that depth. And so, hopefully maybe, 1 or 2 more D linemen?
Probably, yeah.
And then...
and you got some coming in the recruiting class.
Right. Yeah. And then Searles was saying, too, hopefully get an experienced offensive lineman. Because they've got to really... I'm telling you, when I talked to Coach Raiola, he didn't want to... point out any names specifically on the air when I asked him about that young group, but you could tell he is excited. Once he got done recording, he was leaving. He's excited about this young core group of offensive linemen, but they're young and they're inexperienced. And so if you can get some experience to add to that with Ben Scott leaving and the unknown of the 2 tackles, Ben Hart leaving, but then, Turner and Teddy, not knowing about them. If you can get maybe 1 or 2 guys that have some experience, I think that would supplement that really good group of young core guys that they're really excited about.
And we're going to look back in a couple of years and go, man, how good was that for Gunnar Gatula?
Yeah.
To get as many snaps as he did this year because you didn't think he would because he was started the camp number 3 and then Teddy goes down, Turner goes down. And I thought he did pretty well week in and week out.
Yeah, I mean, the first game, Coach Roll had said nobody even asked me about him, which means he obviously did his job. And a couple of the times that there were penalties on the O-line, it wasn't even him.
Yeah.
In some of those big moments. I know he did get a couple, but, late in the season, he continued to come along. And, there's just nothing like having that experience. And Searles talks a lot about that. He got thrown into the fire as a redshirt freshman and how much that paid dividends when he was starting as a sophomore that next year. It just, you cannot replicate that game experience. And so... and then now the bowl practices, just so huge for that young O-line. And so, they've been missing out on these extra practices. Now they're getting that. So they'll continue to get better. I'm just going to be fascinated to see. You talk about my report at the beginning of the game. What's the rotation look like at running back, at defensive line? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that, besides the injuries, that I'll have to be looking out for on that front.
It's crazy. All right, coming up on the show tonight, Amy Williams is going to stop by, give us an update. Huskers, it's finals week, so they don't have any games until Saturday. They got a tough one, though, Saturday. Georgia Tech, a ranked team that'll be down in Atlanta for that. We'll hear from Coach here in a couple minutes. You mentioned Jeremiah. We're going to play a part of the latest edition of the Sideline Slice. Jess and he recorded that yesterday. Get his thoughts about bowl prep, about this bowl matchup, all those things from Jeremiah. And Matt Davison will be here. 1890 has a big fundraising campaign this week called Together We Win. We'll hear all about that, how you can contribute. Hope the NIL collective gains some momentum, some money to go out and get future Huskers in all sports to come on in here.
Really important.
Very important.
Really important, especially, too, when you talk about the revenue sharing. That's only probably going to a certain amount of players. So the NIL, very, very important for some of those other sports like volleyball, some of the basketballs. So huge. And when you talk about wanting to get the best guys, being able to offer them, that's just where we're at, right?
It is.
And so
I don't love it, but it's where we're at.
It's where we're at. So if you want to get some of those best guys, you got to be able to supplement that with some NIL opportunities. And hey, 1890, as we've heard over and over again, they have done such a great job of being able to navigate that and help land some of those players. And they need some more help.
They sure do. Amy Williams coming up here in a few minutes. They're 10-1, Jess. 10-1. You lose one of your best players early in the season. I love the way they're playing. The schedule's about to go up a mile because of Georgia Tech, UCLA, USC coming up. But she's got to feel pretty good at where they are right now.
Yeah, I think so. And they've had some different looks, and they've had some adversity, as you mentioned, and even not having Logan Nisley in the game against Charlotte, and then they've found ways to win. They're a great offensive team, but when it hasn't gone down as well, or they've gotten in foul trouble, they've found ways to work around that. So I am anxious to see how they match up against these three teams. It's a tough stretch here with these three road games, but hey, it's good for them, and I think this will be a team that will be ready for it. So, but a tough one on Saturday, starting with Georgia Tech.
Good. Looking forward to hearing from her here in just a couple of minutes. Nebraska Women's Basketball Coaches Show, sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, where people don't have your money has people. Back with Coach Williams next.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
This postseason, the Nebraska Cornhuskers are ready to make a run for the championship, and Woodhouse is right there with them. Follow along as the Huskers take on the best in the NCAA volleyball tournament. Hear every thrilling moment, every powerful serve, and every block for the title. Woodhouse, proud sponsor of Nebraska volleyball, bringing you all the action as the Huskers fight for glory. Stay tuned and cheer on the Huskers each broadcast, presented by Woodhouse.
Hi, I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and co-founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program.
And I'm Des Moines Adams, Husker Black Shirt and CEO of Teammates Mentoring.
We are recruiting Teammates mentors and need caring adults to be in the lives of our students.
Meeting with a student once a week at the school can make a positive impact in their life and have a ripple effect in our communities.
Please join our team.
Go to teammates.org today.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare groups and individuals. Head to nebraskablue.com to find the coverage that's right for you. Team Blue says, go Big Red.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun.
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat Modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series, best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and we typically do an hour talking Husker women's hoops, but it's one of those weeks we've got Husker volleyball, and the team is traveling, so Amy's joining us for a segment here to talk some Huskers, so thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, excited to do so, Jess, and especially a 10-1 record to talk about.
Yeah, absolute way to kind of send out 2024, right? Can you believe we're talking about, you guys played your last game of 2024 in PBA and last non-conference game inside and one more coming up. I mean, it just feels like it's flown so fast.
It has been flying by this season. When you love coaching the team that you're coaching, it seems like the days go by even faster, the time goes faster, the games go faster, and here we are looking at one more non-conference game on the road and then Christmas break, and then we get things really rolling with Big Ten play.
Well, I want to dive into previewing, obviously, the game at Georgia Tech. But before we talk all things Husker women's basketball, how about the doubleheader? You guys kick things off with a win, and then Husker volleyball. I know your team's really close with their players. To see John Cook's group go back to the Final Four, I know that makes you super proud.
Oh, we are just ecstatic about it and just so happy for that team. We know how hard they work, and yeah, the players that are seniors this year kind of came in and roomed with several of the girls that were seniors on our team. They've been 4 years together at Nebraska. They've seen each other go through highs and lows. And so when our game was over the other day, it was like the girls were racing to get their clothes changed so they could sprint over to Davison and watch their friends over there do something really special and secure a spot in the Final Four. It's just amazing to me. I mean, when you really stop to think about the amount of success that they've had, and that's something that we really feel like that success breeds success, and it just rubs off on everyone. And I know our players want to be able to be better, just to try to keep up with the standard that they are setting for our athletic department.
I talked with Logan Nisley about that last week about, and her class also roomed with volleyball players, but just the support we've documented, just the relationship with you guys in Nebraska softball with Rhonda Revelle, but I mean, you just don't find that everywhere. How special is that? Because, the volleyball players will be at your games too, and just the kind of cross support for the women's athletes here.
Yeah, I feel like it's really intentional, and it's something that I've been very blessed because I feel like that the coaches here at Nebraska, just John Walker and John Cook and Rhonda Revelle, and just the list goes on and on of coaches that have just been willing to be kind of an open book to try to answer questions I might have, just help talk through situations and solutions. But I think, currently our 3 freshmen have a soccer team roommate. They're just those bonds. It's pretty intentional the way that we create those interactions and the way that this athletic department has prioritized the training table, which is a place where every athlete gets to come and break bread together. I think that's where a lot of bonds are made. Our academic support center is just a place where you just, it's a central hub on our campus. It's where all the athletes are interacting and mingling, and that intentionality has led to that kind of cohesiveness and just the way that the athletes in this department really want to be for each other.
Great stuff there. Visiting with head coach Amy Williams. Husker women's basketball close out their non-conference schedule inside Pinnacle Bank Arena with a 66-42 win over Chattanooga on Sunday. Well, what were your big takeaways in that one? And Logan Nisley, obviously, but you guys locked down defensively, it seemed like a lot of times during that game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there were some really good things to slow down. I think UTC has a lot of very veteran players that are in their lineup that have won a lot of games. I mean, they're a team that won the SoCon championship a year ago, and they're adjusting to a new head coach. But I think she just does a great job of running a lot of awesome stuff and executing, and that's a team that really executes offense pretty well. But I thought we did a pretty good job most of the game of being able to be hooked up defensively. A few breakdowns on some backdoor looks that we gave up a little too easy, but for the most part, one of our better defensive efforts. The thing I was the most pleased with is our ability to adjust, and we had to make some changes and shifts to ball screen coverages, and I thought we did a great job of that. Forced some turnovers that led to offense, 27 points off turnovers, which is something that we'd like to see more often.
Well, both Jeff Greesh and Matt Coatney were talking a lot, if you listen to the broadcast, about Callan Hake and her efforts on the defensive end, and Coatney again put out his regular PSA to put Callan Hake on the all-defensive team. But what improvements have you seen in Callan Hake on the defensive end, and how much she's been able to help you guys on that end?
Yeah, I think the fact is that she enters every single game with the mindset of, I need to impact the games somehow, some way, on both sides of the ball. And that mindset, there's just kind of a sense of urgency when she comes out there to say, I'm not just going to be here, but I need to make a play. And she had a real tough call early in the game that was kind of a 50-50 block charge and put her into some foul trouble in the first half, where we tried to, she was still really smart, being able to give us some significant minutes, even with a couple of fouls there in the first half. But I think, we probably didn't get her on the floor as much as we would have liked there early because of that. But I just love it that she's thinking, how can I make plays? How can I put myself in a position to take charges, to get steals, deflections, to help to make a play on the basketball instead of just help to be there. And that has really changed the impact that she's having on our team on that side of the ball.
We talked last week on the show about just this time and this stretch, how difficult it is to manage everything that's going on with finals and academics and all the things. How did you like the way that your team has handled last week going into this week? I know, this week is kind of the same, but just juggling everything and still managing to do what they need to do on the basketball court.
Yeah, well, I couldn't be more proud of them for the way that they're handling it, and the way that I can tell that is I can't walk into my office without, you know, the lights being on, the balls are bouncing, somebody's in the gym getting extra work, extra shots, extra film. And so this is a group who's really motivated in the classroom and wants to finish the semester strong, and they're studying, and I know they're putting in a lot of work to do well on their finals and finish up strong. But I think the way that they have also been able to prioritize their time so that they can still get in and watch some extra film and get some extra shots and be in the gym, staying committed to staying sharp is how you know that there's a team that's really handling that well and managing the load well. And so I'm incredibly proud of the way that they've been managing things heading into this finals week.
Greece told me Alexis has taken like 18 hours. I couldn't imagine. Did you ever have a heavy workload like that?
Yeah, well, yes. I can definitely relate to that. As a biology and math double major here at Nebraska, there were a few semesters like that where I felt a little overwhelmed. But I think, you know, Lex has done such a great job of just, you know, managing that and really, I think, has settled into just being able to perform well academically while she's continuing to pour her heart into trying to be a leader for this team, and just pretty special to watch.
So this time of year, with maybe some stretches, you guys, your staff is going to be able to get out and recruit, see some young talent. How do you guys balance that and manage, okay, we want to go maybe check out the next generation of Huskers and also but what you need to do with this team and where guys go and all of that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's always that puzzle that we're trying to work and put together. And obviously, you know, this week without a midweek game provides some opportunity for us to get out. But I think the biggest thing is we want to continue to always prioritize the current roster that we have, make sure we're doing the things that we need to do for this particular team to continue to improve and keep getting better and have success. But in the meantime, we're juggling. There's, you know, the NCAA puts a very limited amount of days on how many days you can be out recruiting. So you have to prioritize. It's not just, oh, any day we want to go out, we can go out. I mean, we know we only have a certain number of days to be out evaluating, and so we have to be very smart with those days and make sure we're not just wasting them.
Well, going into the last non-conference game before you guys head into the gauntlet of the Big Ten, how do you like where your team is at going into this matchup against Georgia Tech?
Yeah, I think I love where we're at because we're 10-1. We're seeing some really awesome things, but we're nowhere near what our finished product could be. And you know, I think some people feel like, oh, you know, we're a little up and down. And sure, we'd like to have put together a little more complete ball games at this point. But I think the best thing for me is just the encouragement of knowing that we're just scratching the surface. We know we can be a lot better than what we've seen right now, and so that's encouraging. It's exciting. It continues to give us something to work towards, and we know that we have a lot better team in front of us.
Expecting to have Logan back, hopefully, on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, we really feel like right now she's just kind of day-to-day, and so we're just going to have to each day just see how things go, how she feels, how she responds to see if she'll be ready to go for our next ball game. But we feel really confidently that she's taking it one day at a time and should be back with us soon.
Well, I heard you telling Coatney that you'd never been to Georgia Tech. You've never played in this arena. Yeah. Is that fun when you get to go experience new arenas, new gyms across the country?
Yeah, it is. It's really kind of an exciting part of it is just being able to go to different places. I mean, obviously, we're going to play a ranked opponent on their home court and an undefeated, one of, I think, 7 undefeated teams that remain in NCAA women's basketball. So, you know, really tough task at hand, but it'll be really fun to take our team down to Atlanta and experience something new.
Well, tell us about this matchup. What is, I mean, obviously a very talented team. What does this matchup look like for you guys?
Yeah, well, it was a really tough game for us last year when they came here and played in Pinnacle Bank Arena, and we were down at halftime and had some heroics in the second half to be able to come back and secure a home win. I know they're going to be chomping at the bit to kind of get paybacks for that one, but also just, you know, a team that's, I think, really playing very confidently right now. They just went to North Carolina and knocked off number 17th ranked North Carolina on their home court yesterday. So they're feeling very confident. They're getting a lot of balanced scoring, bringing some scoring off their bench. And so just a really deep team that it's going to take a full, complete effort from our group.
How good is this challenge, though, heading into, I mean, you just talk about hitting the ground running in Big Ten play, out at those California schools, but just how good is this challenge to close out non-conference before you guys do head into Big Ten play?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't plan it out that way. We didn't really know that we would be having, when the Big Ten schedule would be coming, that we'd be playing now 3 ranked opponents on their home court. 25, I think Georgia Tech will certainly move up the polls after their win yesterday, but number 25 on their home court and then number 5 and number 1 on their home courts right in a row. But I think that's what you build the non-conference schedules for, is to try to help prepare you for the things that you're going to face when you get to Big Ten play. And I think this road game at Georgia Tech will most definitely be one of the best teams in the country, and hopefully we'll learn, what it's going to take.
All right, great stuff. Best of luck. Appreciate you stopping by and spending some time with us here on Sports Nightly.
Thanks, Jess.
Again, head coach Amy Williams joining us here on the program tonight. We're going to step aside for a break. We're back with more coming up after this.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Huskers fans, let's call a timeout on the court and in life. When the game gets tough, Nebraska stands together as a family, as a team. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. You're part of the Husker family, and every member is valued on and off the court. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Last season was a banner year for the Huskers, winning 5 Big Ten titles. Nebraska also finished in the top 25 in the Directors' Cup standings. Beardmore Subaru congratulates Husker Athletics and Nebraska student athletes for all their achievements and stands behind you again this season. Go Big Red! Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester, the same trusted SUV it's always been, only more so. Love begins with trust.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Looking for the ultimate sports watching experience? Head to Smash Park in La Vista, home of Husker Hangouts, Omaha's official watch parties. Your go-to spot for epic game day deals, delicious bites, and unbeatable fun. Catch every moment on our massive screens. Challenge friends to pickleball, axe throwing, and other games. Smash Park is where the action happens, whether you're cheering on the Huskers or just enjoying the atmosphere. Smash Park. Visit us today and turn your game day into a game night. Smash Park. Play, drink, eat.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Chris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyota Thon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Husker Extra is the best website and mobile app for everything. I mean everything. Husker sports from the experts at the Omaha World Herald and Lincoln Journal-Star. Go to huskerextra.com or search your app store today. Greg Sharpe back with you on a Tuesday night Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. Jessica's going to be off to Louisville. She'll have complete coverage throughout the week of the Final Four. Huskers set to play that second match Thursday, half hour after the Pitt-Louisville match. Should be 8:30 Central Time. It's going to be a late night with the Huskers. I was a little bit surprised, just a little, when the pairings came out that they didn't put Louisville, the home team, in the late match. But Pitt's the number one overall seed. So I guess to be fair to the number one overall seed, you want to give them the most recovery time for the championship, although the championship's 3 days later. So, I kind of thought they might put Louisville late and let Nebraska go in the early match. But think about last week at home against Dayton, how late that thing got going. And I think it affected Nebraska, even though Dayton is an Eastern time zone school. You'd think it would have affected them more. But Nebraska just didn't look quite right against Dayton in that late match. Can't afford to do that in the Final Four, or you'll get beat in that. But Jessica will have plenty of reaction tomorrow, Thursday, hopefully Friday, as they get ready for a national championship match. So she'll be back there. Teams flying out tonight out of Lincoln. She did record something with Jeremiah for this podcast that we'll have for you coming up in hour number 2. 402-413-2400. That's the number if you want to fire off a text. And for those of you that are in our YouTube chat room, I'm monitoring that. So if you have something you want to talk about, we can certainly get into that tonight as well. Dorothy Lynch, home style, light and lean dressing, endless flavorabilities. We talked about the transfer portal edition of Jalen George in the opening segment. I also need to add, Huskers picked up a punter today as well. Washington punter Jack McAllister has 1 year of eligibility left, so he becomes a new member of the Husker football team. So Nebraska now they've got a defensive lineman in George, punter in McAllister, and then they, over the weekend, picked up the long snapper from New Hampshire. So they've kind of added to the kicking game area. Obviously, long snapping was an issue this past year, particularly in those field goal units that really, really struggled for the first part of the year. Got better. It did get better toward the end of the year. So they've hit that part of it hard. Also, a couple of Husker websites are reporting that tomorrow Wake Forest offensive lineman Keegan Trost will be on campus. Big fellow, 6'4", 305. Huskers would love to get, I think, an offensive lineman or two in this group, as we talked about in the opening segment. But Jack McAllister, punter, in for the Big Red moving forward. So the Jalen George, East Tennessee State young man, all-conference player, defensive lineman. And, sometimes you can really find some of those diamonds in the rough in that area. And I know Nebraska certainly loves being able to uncover these things. And Matt Rule said time and time again, yes, we do. We like uncovering, a hidden diamond, but we're also trying to find people that can play in the NFL, because that's how you're going to have to win at the high level of college football, is to be able to get guys who can come in here and play at a very, very high level to allow you a chance to go compete for Big Ten titles, for the college football playoff, for all those type of things that are moving forward. The playoff, a mere 3 days away. My goodness, I was looking at some weather forecasts. It's going to be in the low 20s with some snow in the air Friday night in South Bend for Indiana and Notre Dame. I think that's going to be a sneaky good game. I think most people think, it's the Irish hands down. I don't know. I think Indiana's style is going to give Notre Dame some fits. And I just still think people are properly giving Indiana their props about how good a football team that is. And I think they're going to go. I think Curt Cignetti, who won another coaching award today, I think he was named AP Coach of the Year today. I think that Cignetti, he's going to come out firing. He's not going to play conservative. He's going to come out and play that underdog role really well with his team, get them fired up and go. So I think that's going to be a fascinating game on Friday night. The other three games for the weekend are on Saturday, and very cold and maybe snowy conditions at Penn State for their matchup with SMU. And then you've got the night game at the Shoe, Tennessee, Ohio State. It isn't going to be warm there at all. It'll be nice in Austin for the mid-afternoon game with Clemson and Texas down there. Some people are giving Clemson a shot. I don't know. I kind of feel like Texas is going to put it all together and really get after them in that game on Saturday afternoon against Dabo Swinney's team, who I think is probably just happy to be there in a way, right? I mean, their only path to get in was to win that ACC title, which, to their credit, they did. They got it done. They kind of held on for dear life, blew the big lead, got the long field goal on the last play of the game to beat SMU to force their way in there. But I just don't know that they can match up with Texas's athletic ability in that game. If I had to pick one of the four that I think is going to be kind of lopsided, that would be it. It would be that game. I think the other three have a chance to be pretty darn good. SMU, I kind of look in the same light as Indiana. Nothing to lose. They're going to cut it loose. Rhett Lashley could be a very aggressive coach play calling wise, and I think they will get after that. I think Penn State's the better team. I think Penn State will play better in the cold conditions, which may really win it out for them in that one. And then I think I will not be surprised at all if Tennessee doesn't go into the horseshoe and beat Ohio State. There is talk of major entourage of Tennessee fans making their way to Columbus to eat up a bunch of tickets. They're going to make some noise in that stadium. And Ohio State's fan base right now is not mentally in a very good place. They are not really that supportive right now of Ryan Day. I think they would kind of like to see a bit of a change going through with the coaching change, which seems ludicrous with the overall record that Ryan has put together at Ohio State. But there's just an unsettling feeling around the Buckeye program. And we talk to our contributors there all the time, and they kind of sense that too. So I think Tennessee has a real shot of going in there and getting a road win. I'm not going to be surprised if we have at least one road win this weekend. And I could see two happening in those four games. I am ready for it. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's a great step forward for college football. Still needs some tweaking. I did not like the way they seeded things out this year. I do think that there's some other things. Like Eric and Lincoln said, do you feel like Oregon got a bad draw being the number one overall and having to play the winner of the Ohio State? Heck yeah, Eric, that's exactly right. That was not a good draw at all for the Ducks. Now, they get a bye. That's huge. They get another week to heal up. You can't take that away from them. So they're going to play somebody that just played a week before. But in some ways, that could be a bit of an advantage that Tennessee or Ohio State's got another game back under their belt and some rhythm. And does Oregon lose that? But Eric, thank you for the text. Absolutely. I think Oregon got a bad draw. They got to fix that. And I think they got to fix the fact that the top four seeds should not just be automatic conference champions. Automatic conference champions should get one of the 12 bids, but maybe not the top four. I think they'll tweak that. I do. I think they'll kind of get in there and tweak that out before next season. Contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and, of course, yourself. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law. Keep those texts coming. 402-214-4300. We're back with our final segment of Hour 1 next.
There's something to be said for American-made, but at Monolith, we're helping create Nebraska-made. From here in Nebraska, we're producing low-emission carbon black for tires across North America. Soon we'll be providing farmers with locally made fertilizer to reduce our reliance on foreign imports. We're investing hundreds of millions in our multiple Nebraska facilities and employing Nebraskans in high-paying jobs that support families and communities. Monolith, Nebraska-made.
This postseason, the Nebraska Corn Huskers are ready to make a run for the championship, and Woodhouse is right there with them. Follow along as the Huskers take on the best in the NCAA volleyball tournament. Hear every thrilling moment, every powerful serve, and every block for the title. Woodhouse, proud sponsor of Nebraska volleyball, bringing you all the action as the Huskers fight for glory. Stay tuned and cheer on the Huskers each broadcast, presented by Woodhouse.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. 402-413-2400. The number if you want to be a part of the program with a text. I'm also looking at the text line as well, and everybody saying goodbye to Jessica. She's about ready to jump on the team flight to go to Louisville to cover the Final Four for the Cornhuskers. Tomorrow is a mandatory practice day in the arena, and then everybody has to spend about an hour with the media. And a lot of the prime players will go through different things for ESPN's purposes for the TV broadcast. Huskers will practice somewhere else that day as well, not just the 1 hour there to get ready. And then Thursday it's go time with the semifinals. And then not till Sunday do we have the national championship. So a pretty long break from the semis to the national finals. Some of that's just because of programming. Some of that's because of what we were talking about in the last segment, that being the college football playoff. So ESPN's got some windows on Saturday they don't want to interrupt with, so that's why and I think it's fine, putting volleyball by itself on a Sunday afternoon for a national championship. So the Huskers are leaving in the middle of finals week. That's not the most ideal thing. Finals started yesterday, although finals, as we talked about a lot on the show, certainly look different now than they did 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago. Yeah. So Crypto King wants to know the last day the players can enter the portal. It's coming up, Crypto. I think it's the 20th. That is a whole nother topic. I'm going to get into that a little bit next hour about college football's got to change that. This has become a mess. Guys going to the portal, leaving teams that are in the playoff, leaving some teams in a lurch a little bit, leaving teams that are trying to go play postseason games of the bowl game in a lurch. They don't have enough players. Got to fix that. How? I'm not sure. We'll come back. We'll hear from Jeremiah on the other side.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, a.k.a. fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Nebraska libero Lexi Rodriguez has been named a finalist for the AVCA National Player of the Year Award, which will be announced on Friday. Rodriguez is 9 digs away from breaking Olympic medalist Justine Wong-Orante's Husker volleyball record of 1,890 digs. The NBA Cup Championship is tonight as the Milwaukee Bucks face off with the Oklahoma City Thunder in Las Vegas. Tip-off is at 7:30 on ABC. The New York Yankees acquired former MVP Cody Bellinger today. The outfielder had a .266 batting average with 18 home runs and adds Gold Glove defense to the Bronx. The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl is tonight as the number 25 Memphis Tigers clash with the West Virginia Mountaineers. Kickoff is at 8 on ESPN. Former NFL quarterback Michael Vick plans to accept the head coaching job at Norfolk State, according to ESPN's Pete Thamel. The 4-time Pro Bowler is from Newport News, Virginia, which is about 20 miles from the Spartans campus. In top 25 men's basketball action tonight, North Carolina trails number 7 Florida 46-34 at half. Number 20 Michigan State leads Oakland 31-30 at half. Number 22 Dayton trails UNLV 28-27 at half. And South Carolina has the advantage versus number 25 Clemson 34-26 at halftime. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Lexi sails it. Pass made Franklin, the slide, Robinson, block back! Call the grandkids! They did it! Nebraska sweeps Wisconsin for the 3rd time this season. And hello, Louisville. The Big Red Bat where it belongs. The Final Four, number 18 in school history.
Morgan, he hands it back to Wooster. Faces up against his defender, Rice. Top of the circle, hands it off to Williams. A long 3 on the way. Bang! 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 Bryce Williams, another 3 with 4:15 to go, and that opens up a 8-point lead, 75-67. How about that 3?
On the right side, quarter court, Kiefer throws it directly underneath. Anya with 2 seconds. Steal. Widener at the buzzer. The layup at the buzzer is good. Widener got the steal and the score. And the Huskers in the 3rd quarter with an Allison Widener strip, steal, and layup. And the Huskers lead it 44-30.
Now, here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
We are back. Tuesday Night Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. Hope you had a great day today. Those shopping days are kind of dwindling down for Christmas. What are we, 8 days out before the big day? So get on it. I've never met a guy that's usually on top of it at this point in time. Usually we're all kind of scrambled to figure out some things at the end. So you still got time, plenty of time. You know, a full weekend of shopping coming up. Weather's going to be okay to get out and hit the stores, so have some fun with that. We're going to hear from Jeremiah Searles here in a little bit. He and Jessica have recorded the latest podcast, Sideline Slice. We'll have a snippet of that for you here in a few minutes. And Matt Davison from 1890 is here. They have a campaign going on this week called Together We Win. We'll tell you all about that, how you can get involved, and how successful Nebraska has been with their collective, and certainly positioned well to help Matt Rural, Fred Hoiberg, Amy Williams, John Cook, all the prime coaches on the Nebraska staff. I think they work with 8 sports right now. Matt will fill us in on all that coming up here in just a little bit. Programming note, tomorrow night, it'll be our monthly sit-down with Troy Dannon, Nebraska Athletic Director. That'll be during Hour 1. Lots happened, obviously, since the last time we talked to Mr. Dannon. We've got a bowl bid for Nebraska headed to the Pinstripe Bowl in New York. Still tickets available for that. If you are kind of wrestling with whether to go, watch the Huskers play in postseason for the first time in 8 years. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the things that we ended last hour about is these portal dates and how can maybe college football get their handle on that and make this thing more reasonable for people. In fact, I got a text from Jim in Columbus that said, I totally agree. The portal is getting way too confusing for all coaches and players and us fans. I think they need to change it. Level heads will figure it out and just have to have one portal a year, probably best before the school year starts. I hope they can get this figured out. Jim, I'm with you. I don't have the answer. I'm not smart enough to figure that out, but this isn't working. Doing it right now, and Fred Hoiberg and I were talking last night in basketball. The portal opens for basketball the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. So you got coaches that are trying to get their team to focus on the NCAA tournament, and 5 of their guys on the bench are thinking about, I'm getting in a portal and I'm out of here. So there's got to be a way to do it within the calendar that makes sense for student athletes and also doesn't just blow up a team when you're to the big moment of your year, which is postseason play. I just cannot imagine that we cannot figure a way to get through this and make this thing work out a little bit better. But we'll talk about, I'm sure, that and a lot of things with Mr. Dannon tomorrow night on the program. Jessica is on her way now to Louisville with the Husker team. She'll have reports tomorrow night in hour number 2 from what took place tomorrow. Mandatory practice, mandatory media sessions. We'll hear from some of the Huskers tomorrow. Then we'll have a 1-hour show leading into pregame Thursday night. That will originate with Jess from Louisville on Thursday night with JB and Lauren taking over at 7 o'clock. The first national semifinal between Louisville and Pitt is at 5:30. Huskers and Nittany Lions will follow 30 minutes after the conclusion of that match. And we'll have a full Friday show. So we'll bring back the old party show for everybody on Friday night. Do have time to tell you that Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Well, as mentioned, a new podcast, Sideline Slice with Searles, recorded yesterday to get Jeremiah's thoughts about the current state of Husker football as we move toward that bowl game coming up on the 28th of the month in New York City in Yankee Stadium. So here's part of that conversation.
How about that? We've got a bowl game to talk about here in December, Searles.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Usually we're talking about what the winter program's going to look like and how we're excited for next year and the coaching changes that are going to build. But no, we got a football game to talk about. Going to go to New York, Yankee Stadium, Boston College. I'm excited.
Well, there's been lots of news that's unfolded since we've last chatted. And let's start with, I guess let's go in chronological order. And the defensive coordinator, you're a big fan of Tony White. We all were a big fan of Tony White. Let's get back to Florida. First of all, what was your initial reaction on Tony White's departure? And again, just the timing of it and what your initial reaction was.
I'm happy for Tony. You know, it's hard for me to be upset with guys or coaches or whoever that want to change and want to go do something for them, right? So you always cheer for people that left the program better than they found it, right? And Tony White came in here and changed the face of the black shirts and what they stood for and how they played defense, and all of that was in question when Matt Rule took the job. And in 2 years, he was able to flip it completely on its head and really show a dominant performance, no rushing touchdowns allowed at home, and changing the 3-3-5 and all of that. So was I sad to see him go? Absolutely. Am I happy for him? I'm always happy for guys that want to go and chase whatever dream they're chasing. So, yeah, definitely a big bummer not to have him on the staff anymore. But, you know, excited for the future of what that defense is going to hold with the foundation that he's built and the guys he's built with it.
Well, you were familiar with the guy that Coach Rule named as his replacement, John Butler. You were with the Bills organization at the same time that he was, and you were excited when the Huskers brought him on to coach the defensive backs. So what are your thoughts on now him moving into that defensive coordinator role?
Yeah, super excited for him. You know, anytime you can bring NFL coaching, just like you want to bring NFL talent player-wise, you want to have NFL coaching talent too. You've coached at the elite of the elite and played with and coached guys that were all pros, and, you know, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Tre'Davious White, you know, and those type of guys. And now to bring it to the college level, the development there is going to be awesome. They're going to be running NFL schemes. They're going to have guys all over the place, and really excited for him to have full control. And, you know, he got to come in a little bit this year and work with some things, but we'll get to prove his mettle now is, hey, my defense, my way, here's how it's coached, here's how it's going to be. And I'm really excited to see what that new face of the defense looks like come spring ball.
Don't you? I've said this, since the news unfolded, and Coach Roll had said this on signing day, not to panic. He's a defensive guy. He's been a defensive guy. He was playing defense in the Big 12 when defense wasn't being played in the Big 12. I was not concerned at all that he was going to figure out what the best thing for this program was to continue to play good defense.
Yeah, and I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We all knew that Tony White was on borrowed time.
Right.
Yeah.
I
mean, we all knew after the year that he had last year, the year he continued to have this year, that it was he was in the succession line to go somewhere where, the way Florida State's going right now, wouldn't surprise me if they said, hey, Tony, Norvell's not long for this world, right? Like, hey, this might be your gig here in a while, right? You never know what's made in those conversations. And so, I think part of bringing Butler in when he did was having that succession plan of, hey, I don't want to have to hit a panic button when Tony White goes and takes a different job or becomes a head coach or whatever it might be. I want to have someone I can promote with from within, in-house, knows our players, knows our scheme, been around in the recruiting meetings all through the year. And so there's more of this seamless transition instead of going out and having to go through a hiring process and bringing people in and finding the right fit from a personality standpoint, from an X's and O's standpoint, and all of that in between. I think Rule foresaw this. I think that's why Butler was brought in, and I think that's why he now has this position coaching job, because him and Rule have now worked together for a year, and now it's going to continue to be a collaborating effort going forward.
Absolutely. Well, Terrence Knighton also departs to Florida State as well, and we're all sad about that. He's a guy that we've been so impressed with from the start. I mean, 2 years ago, before the season, we're sitting here saying the D-line's going to be a problem, and then Terrence Knighton said, I got something to say about that, but just a really great developer of talent, and had really built that room up. It would appear at this point that there are a couple in the portal that might follow him to Florida State, but some of that young talent would appear are going to stay put. But I guess let's first of all talk about Terrence Knighton's departure and how big of a loss that is.
That's a big loss. You talk about coordinator departure, and that's a big one, but it's really the position coaches that are the true developers of the player. And Terrence Knighton has proven that he is a great developer, and those are the ones that are hard to let walk out the door. The ones that love the kids. You've seen the improvement, the way that the kids play for him, and the effort in which they play for that guy, and the results in which he's given. That one definitely stung to let him walk out the door. But again, happy for the guy. Never going to wish ill will on a coach that wants to go try and do his own thing somewhere else. And Tony White's his guy. Totally get the loyalty piece there. But definitely someone that you wish we could have kept and found a way to keep around the building, because he's definitely a really, really good developer.
As we are taping this, no official news yet, but it would appear that Coach Roll's probably going to try to tap into someone that has the NFL experience. How important is that when you talk about, obviously Terrence Knight had his career in the NFL, but when you start talking about getting guys developed and to the next level, I mean, how important are those NFL ties for that defensive line?
They're huge. You want to be developed, and obviously every single college player that comes in, his ultimate goal is to go play in the NFL. So you want to learn and develop from guys that have been there, right? It's the same reason I went into my profession, right? Hey, I'm an agent now because I've been where you want to go. Let me help you get there. It's the same thing when you have a position coach, and it's working recruiting. It's working while you're there. You have to keep recruiting your guys as they're still there and prove your worth to them year in and year out. So I think having that NFL ties is going to be a huge piece there. And also, the more NFL guys you can have around, the better.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of, you want to have the guys that have walked the walk, talked the talk, played at the elite of the elite, be there and help guys learn to walk like them, talk like them, be like them, because that's ultimately how you have a good football team, is you have good players.
Well, let's flip things over to the offensive side of the ball, and making it permanent, going to move officially into that offensive coordinator role is Dana Holgorsen, and we saw tremendous improvement just in the 3 games that he took over the reins. Your reaction to that, and Coach Roll signing on Coach Holgorsen?
Yeah, I'm not shocked at all. That was like, when that got announced, I was like, no, really? I mean, obviously that was going to happen. But I think it's a great move. Obviously Dana's got a ton of experience in the college coaching world from being a head coach, now an offensive coordinator. You saw the improvements he was able to make in just a few weeks being here. My excitement level's through the roof, even for the bowl game. right? The bowl game of, hey, it's just not a couple weeks of frantic game planning trying to get in, but now you have a month of development of really getting into the playbook, really getting into the weeds, him actually learning the players' names and being able to get things going here. I think the bowl game is going to be a tremendous showing of what the future is going to hold for this offense. And then obviously you head into spring ball and be able to install more. Him and Dylan, I think, are going to be a great fix together. I'm really, really excited about Dana Holgorsen taking over the play calling roles.
Well, we talked to him on signing day, and I asked him about, why make this decision, because he said he didn't know. He just got the call, hey, come help, and then
he knew.
But you never know. He might have had another opportunity, but to stick around here, he said, I felt like we should have won the last 3 games, and just felt like there was a lot of improvement that this group could have made and could continue to make, and you can tell he's fired up to coach in this bowl game and to have his kind of be molding this offense throughout these few weeks of bowl prep. You can tell he's pretty fired up to be able to coach another game this season, because he felt like they left a few out there to close out the season.
And also, coaches are like drug addicts. They get out of the world a little bit and they think this is okay, everything's all right. And then the second they get back around football and coaching again, they just can't help themselves. They're all the way back in, right? And I think that was probably a little bit of Dana too. Is, like, hey, this is nice, relaxing. I'm watching college football. And then the second he got back in a film room and got those cowboy collar clicker back in his hand and was running film around, he just was hooked again instantly. And how couldn't you be when you have a quarterback that you get to work with that's young, tremendously talented, has everything out in front of him that you get to help shape and mold. And you look at some of the young receivers in this room, you look at some of the young running backs and some other pieces that are coming in and are going to go get some of the transfer portal. Like, this is a great spot to be, to reignite that fire and that coaching atmosphere that he had, because he said he was bored, right? Coaches are bored. They want to come back in. They're not bored anymore. There's plenty to do, and I really think that he truly is excited to be here, and that's the kind of coaches you want to have around.
Well, one of the additions that he made when he talked to Coach Rule about assembling the staff is he brought in a wide receivers coach, Michael Schwartz Jr., comes from Kentucky, and one of the young up-and-comers, great recruiter. And Coach Holgorsen, I want to get my guy in to coach those receivers. I think this is a great hire. And again, when you start talking about an offensive coordinator trying to establish a system, here's somebody that can help him implement what they want to do offensively.
Right, and anytime you bring in a new captain, right, there's going to be moving pieces below deck, right? So it was not surprising that he wants some guys that speak his lingo, know how he coaches, know how he wants things done. But yeah, that's going to be a great move, because that receiver room is too talented to have the lack of production that they had this year. Call a spade a spade. There's a lot of talent in that receiver room, a lot of young talent that's up and coming, and he's going to expect big things out of that receiving room. If you watched any type of Houston games in the last 4 or 5 years, the receivers are asked to do a lot. And so I'm excited that he's able to bring someone in that he has a lot of faith in, that he can turn over to a coach and not have to worry about, hey, what's being said in that room, what's being taught. I have other things I need to focus on. He's going to be able to rest assured, because I have my guy in place to coach those young guys. I'll know what I'll get from them. Now I can focus on the running backs or the tight ends or the wide run or the O-linemen or the quarterbacks or whatever position, and I think that he'll just continue to have more trust in that room going forward.
How about our guy, Emmett Johnson? He scares us a little bit.
Goodness, Emmett.
Says that he's going to enter the transfer portal. He didn't officially, and then he announces that he's going to stay put and wear that in. How excited for you that Emmett says, I'm a Husker, I'm going to stay a Husker?
Yeah, I was terrified, right? You're like, no, Emmett, come back. We love you. Why are you leaving? Right? And, some of that might be posturing and negotiations, and that's part of what college football is going to become and is becoming now is, there is negotiations for NIL and salary and the whole bit. And so, hey, more power to him. If you can have negotiation power, you're going to use your leverage, but really excited for him to be able to come back. And he was such a spark when Dana took over of the running game, right? And you talk about the thunder and lightning of what those two backs in our backfield can be. And now I'm excited to know going into the bowl game, what are those two guys going to look like? Is it a two-headed monster? Is Emmett the lead dog? What's it going to be? But yeah, very excited he's going to come back, because I think he's going to be a main staple of this Husker offense moving forward.
You know, the other thing that Coach Rule's talked a lot about is getting that roster size down, and it's going to be it's across college football. There's a lot of programs dealing with this, and you can tell it's really hard on Coach Rule because there's a lot of guys that he's close with that he doesn't want to let go. That development part of it is huge to Coach Rule. So maybe can you give us a perspective, because I know you were part of a big roster at Nebraska, and then you go to the NFL and those roster sizes are smaller. What does that do? What is that going to do for this program for Nebraska when you start dwindling those numbers down?
First of all, it makes me sad.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hard thing to have to cut a player strictly because of numbers. It's one thing in the NFL when it's like, hey, this is cutthroat, right? It's as cutthroat as it gets. But Nebraska has such a great tradition of walk-ons becoming dudes. Right? Like walk-ons that come in as the 250-pound defensive linemen that end up being starting offensive linemen and going to the NFL years later, or kickers or whatever. I mean, there's probably a player at every position, maybe, every position in Nebraska that had started as a walk-on that has become a major contributor to this program and helped win football games down the stretch, that with the subtraction of, the walk-on program and only limiting it to those 20 walk-ons, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt our program. It's going to hurt programs across the country. It makes me sad to do, and it's going to put Rule in a really tough position.
Well, if you're now that, again, we've talked so much about it, but the transfer portal, it's part of it, and the Huskers are certainly making an emphasis on getting some guys out of the transfer portal. What would, I guess, rank the needs, in your opinion, for this roster moving forward that you think, hey, this coaching staff absolutely has to target and bring in?
I think you know what I'm going to say first. Offensive line. We're graduating Bryce Benhart, Ben Scott. We got unsure about Teddy Prohaska coming back. I don't know if Turner Corcoran has decided that he's coming back or not. Micah Mazuka is leaving, right? So there's a lot of depth pieces and a lot of starters that have played a lot of football walking out of this building and heading on to greener pastures for either the NFL or whatever it may be. Depth you can never have enough depth at offensive line. And I've told you this since we've started the show, since you've ever met me. You need to have 8 to 10 guys ready to play at week 1, because you're going to need all 8 to 10 at one point this year, right? We saw Evans, we saw Lutovsky, we saw guys rotating in and out. All of a sudden, Gunnar Gatula's out there, right? There's a ton of different guys and combinations that are going to happen, and you're going to have depth and pieces, and you want competition. You don't want to go into a spring ball or a training camp saying, yep, that's the starter 100% no matter what. You always want that starter going, there's a hungry guy running behind me, and you always want the guy behind him thinking he has a chance to be a starter if he goes out and plays better. So I would love to see us get some young depth position at the tackle position in the transfer portal, and then some inside interior guys too as well.
Wow, always fascinating stuff from Jeremiah. That's only part of this week's Sideline Slice. Go to where you can find that on Huskers.com or wherever you find your podcast to hear the entire conversation between Jess and Jeremiah. Brought to you by Valentino's, the official pizza of the Cornhuskers. Just always learn something. You listen to Jeremiah talking about some Husker football. All right, going to step aside and take a break. When we come back and talk about NIL, Nebraska's collective is 1890. They've got a campaign going on this week called Together We Win. Matt will tell us all about that. We'll get his thoughts, too, about some college football things. That's coming up on the other side.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun.
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat Modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series, best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare groups and individuals. Head to nebraskablue.com to find the coverage that's right for you. Team Blue says, go Big Red.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other.
so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They're the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Matt Davison from 1890 with us. They have launched a campaign this week called Together We Win. Yes, I love it.
Right? Makes sense. Yeah, so last year we did the countdown to signing day, and it was a big success for us, and we gained over 1,000 new contributors to 1890 during that 1 week last year. And so we decided to do it again this year and kind of do it leading up to the bowl. And obviously the portal's open, and we had signing day for the high school kids already. But we're doing the Together We Win campaign, and so we invite everybody to go to our website, 1890nebraska.com, or text NEBNIL to 801-801. You'll get a text, and you can give that way as well. You can give to all of our sports like you always could, and so there's a drop-down menu where you choose the sport and you give to that sport. And we also have a donor who has agreed to match the first $250,000 for football only.
Okay.
And so if you're a football donor and you give, you double your impact up to $250,000. So we're going to have a great week. It's already been a great start. I think this morning we already had 35 of the 50 states we had gotten a contribution from.
Sweet.
And we're trying to get somebody from all 93 counties in Nebraska to give as well. So I encourage everybody to check us out.
Now, Matt, I know there's the initiative and the foundation. Tell me the difference of that.
So essentially, our partnership with the university has been so good. Troy Dan in the last few months and his team with Tyler Kai and everybody we work with in Husker Athletic Fund, we've worked it out. We're the first school in the country to recognize gifts to the collective as though they were gifts to the athletic department. And so we have our LLC, which is the 1890 initiative, and you can give that way, and any dollar given to 1890 that way goes towards priority points with the athletic department. And then we also have our 1890 Foundation, which is a 501c3, which gives people a lot of different ways that they can give through cash, appreciated stock, donor advised funds, community foundations, whatever it might be. So that's the tax. You could get the tax benefit from the 501c3, or you can get the priority points from the LLC. And so there's a lot of different ways to give. If people have questions, they can email us off the website, and we can answer questions for them. But it gives people a lot of different ways to be able to help the Huskers.
You've got a good story to tell right now. In your old days in sales, you're only as good as the product yourself. We got a football team in a bowl game, Final Four for volleyball, both basketball teams. There's good stuff going on.
And really you can see the impact of NIL on all of those teams. And it's only getting better. And Nebraska's positioned to really well moving forward when it comes to NIL. We have a solid collective. It's not because of me. It's because of Tom and Sean Pete and everything they've done to build 1890 the way it is. I'll remind everybody that every single dollar that comes into 1890, whether it be the foundation or the LLC, 100% of those dollars go back to the student athletes. They cover all of our expenses. They built a great business, a great company for us. We have 6 full-time employees at 1890. We have another dozen people or so out at Sandhills Global that help us in some capacity every day. That, along with the great coaches we have at Nebraska, the leadership from Troy Dannon, we are aligned and we are ready for whatever comes next with NIL. And there's already been a lot of changes in the first 3 years. It's going to change again, and we're going to be ready for it, and we're going to be positioned well.
There's a lot of numbers that have been floating out there about how this school's doing this and this school's doing that. Should people put much stock into that, or do you guys feel comfortable with where you are right here, right now?
I would caution people, like the numbers that we saw on the internet last week. Yeah, none of those were right. It's amazing because I see things like this all the time, and I can speak for us in that the numbers that were out there in that social media post a week ago were not accurate. And I know some other schools that were inaccurate too. So I don't know how people come up with all the numbers. We're a private business. We're very transparent with the athletic department over here, but you know our numbers are not public. And so I would just caution people about what they read. And I think if you asked our coaches in the athletic department, you know, we're doing the best we can, and I think it's positioned our programs to be able to be successful in this landscape.
You talked about 6 full-time employees, but I know you also, one of those is somebody who's a direct conduit to football. Because football is so massive because of the numbers, right?
That's right. And so Kyle Fisher is part of our staff now, was over here with Coach Rule and his staff, and now he's kind of hybrid back and forth. Of course, I'm talking to the program too, and I keep in touch with the coaches. And again, we just have wonderful coaches. They're easy to root for. I think they've all navigated NIL the right way. And, you know, we're helping 8 sports right now, and it's only going to grow. And try to give them the best chance to succeed. It's a little bit of chaos, but it's also kind of fun, and it's very competitive. And we couldn't do any of this without our great donors and our great fans. And so the passion that they have for each of our sports has really allowed us to raise a lot of money for each of them.
All right, I'm going to have you just switch your hat to kind of sports, your sports part of this thing. The portal opened up last week. You got guys dropping out of going to playoff games coming up. college football's got to fix some things, don't they?
It has to be fixed, and I'm not sure that I have the answers for sure.
Either.
But
Yeah.
you know, the timing of it all is hard with the playoffs going all the way through January.
True.
You have different schools that have different cadence to their semesters. Some are on semesters, some are on quarters, and so it makes it really hard on the athletes to make a tough decision sometimes. But when the NCAA allowed more freedom of movement from the athletes, you know, to be able to transfer when they want, and then you throw in NIL, it kind of created what we have today, which is, you know, it's a much different feeling college athletics than it has ever been in our lifetimes. And again, I think we're positioned to really do really well with it.
Yeah.
But there are instances where you kind of shake your head and go, there has to be a better way to do it than what we're doing it now. And unfortunately, it may take a few years to figure it out.
A guy like Eric Crouch, one of your old teammates, he's got a chuckle. He got in trouble for what, a sandwich or something that he got?
Yeah.
And now the pendulum has gone totally to the athlete.
Yeah, and I point this out a lot, that unfortunately with NIL, nationally, the headlines are always about the point guard that got X or the quarterback or the wide receiver that got that. And sometimes those numbers are accurate, sometimes they're not. We at 1890, we get to see a lot of the really good things that come from NIL, and that's that our student athletes, through their contracts with 1890, we have them out in the community doing all kinds of good stuff in the nonprofit world. So we partner with charitable partners all across the city and across the state. Our athletes are out doing really good things with Boys and Girls Club and Dreamweaver and Make-A-Wish and, you know, all these great nonprofits. And we're also introducing them to all the right business owners and business people across the state of Nebraska as well. Where back to the Eric Crouch thing, is like, for a while it was, you know, you maybe didn't want your athletes hanging out with prominent business people because you were afraid they might get a free meal and all of a sudden they're ineligible. It seems crazy now.
Right.
But now we're having all of our athletes come to 1890 events, and they're meeting all the great people that are helping 1890 and of course helping them as well. And it's leading to internships and job opportunities down the line and networking. It's just been, we get to see all those really good things that come from it. And so it's not just the headlines that make the papers. There's a lot of good stuff that comes from NIL.
No, and I'm glad you pointed that out, because I think some people think it's totally a money grab. And yes, absolutely, money's part of it. But there are those things where they're giving back. And some of the social posts that you guys have put out recently, which were phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah.
You've highlighted some of those things about going to nursing homes or some of those type of places.
That's right. And it gives these athletes great perspective on life. I think most of them understand that, you know, they're in college at a very unique time in the history of college athletics. Fortunate in a lot of ways in the ways that they're able to earn money, and they're all of them here. They're so willing to give their time back. They understand that they have a great opportunity in their lives to play for a place like Nebraska in whatever sport it is, and that they can make an impact on somebody else's life. And so all the charitable partners we work with give great opportunities to these athletes, our business owners, the people that are helping us. Every donation helps, man. Whether it's $10, $1,000 or more, we need it all. We want everybody to feel like they're a part of this, because you are. I mean, that's what Husker Athletics was built on for all of these decades, was the great fans that we have, and we want all of them to be involved, small or big, and be a part of this thing, knowing that we're doing the best we can to navigate this thing and use those dollars in the right way to give our programs the chance to win.
You excited for the playoff?
I am. I think there's going to be some great games.
Yep.
It's fun to see the games in the snow, in the cold. I mean, you're going to see that every year, hopefully, that there's some home games. You know, there are some other impacts to it, right? I mean, the bowl games are a little different now, but, you know, you think about the teams that are in the playoff that might get one game, they don't get a bowl game.
Right.
You know, and I'd rather be in the playoff, trust me. But, you know, back when we played or whatever a long time ago, it was like your reward was going to a bowl game. Well, now you have NIL, it kind of changes everything. And so these teams, you know, potentially 4 of them are going to lose and not have any trip at all around it. Some of them are playing a home game and could lose and be done. So it's way different, but I really like it. I think there's some great matchups. I don't think they got the matchups right. I didn't love the seeding, but that's always going to be an opinion. But I'm excited to have a lot of good football over the next month.
Who wins? Oregon?
Isn't it weird that this year you could pick 4, 5, 6 schools, I think, that could really win it? Oregon's going to be hard to beat. And, you know, I still think I think Texas is going to be a tough out.
True.
You know?
Yeah. Georgia.
But you look at Penn State's route, right? And it's not easy, but I think they would have taken that draw. And so there's a lot of teams that really have a shot. And every team has, maybe one part of their team that you go, yeah, that's a question mark, right? But Oregon's the team that's won them all. They're confident, and they've won some big games, and they're going to be tough to beat.
Together, we win. All week long, right?
That's right, all the way through Friday. Okay. We have the $250,000 match to football, and then all the other sports, of course, we need contributions there as well. So 1890nebraska.com or text NEBNIL to 801-801. And, try to help our programs. We appreciate everybody's help so far, and it's going to be a big week for us.
So we're still missing a few states and a few counties.
That's right. 35 of the 50 states so far as of this morning. And I got to check on the counties. We got to get to all 93. And if we do, we get a $5,000 match from 93.7 the ticket.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
cool
absolutely.
Stuff. Good to see you. Merry Christmas.
Thanks a lot.
Continued success.
Good to see you.
Together we
Merry
win.
Christmas, everybody.
Matt Davison with 1890 with us here on the program. Back with more coming up next.
'Tis the season to save at Woodhouse Cadillac. Find the perfect gift for someone special or yourself. Browse the lineup of Cadillac models equipped with luxurious designs, reliable safety features, and the latest technology so you can transform your driving experience. Plus, the year-end savings are here. Celebrate the season with 3.9% APR for 36 months on select 2024 Cadillac models. Browse our inventory in-store off 114th and Dodge or online at WoodhouseCadillac.com. Approved credit must finance with Cadillac Financial. Offer expires 1/2/2025. See dealer for details.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Hello, Husker Nation. This is Lexi Rodriguez, All-American Libero, serving you an ace on behalf of Noddle Companies based in Omaha, Nebraska. Noddle Companies is a full-service leader in commercial real estate, digging deep to create thriving communities like the Builders District, Exarban Village, and the contemporary row house townhomes. They bring world-class concepts in fashion, great eats, gorgeous homes, and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. To dig up more information, find them on Facebook and Instagram. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Looking for the ultimate sports watching experience? Head to Smash Park in La Vista, home of Husker Hangouts, Omaha's official watch parties. Your go-to spot for epic game day deals, delicious bites, and unbeatable fun. Catch every moment on massive screens. Challenge friends to pickleball, axe throwing, and other games. Smash Park is where the action happens, whether you're cheering on the Huskers or just enjoying the atmosphere. Smash Park. Visit us today and turn your game day into a game night. Smash Park. Play, drink, eat.
Shop Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram during the Wrap Up the Year sales event. Lease the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn for just $399 per month. Visit us in Blair or Bellevue or online anytime. Woodhouse is your trusted Ram dealer. 42 months, 10,000 miles per year with approved credit. Tax title license extra. For well-qualified returning lease customers, $1,999 down plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number BC 250089. Offer expires 12/31/2024. See dealer for details.
Well, Woodhouse is proud to be the broadcast sponsor for the Pinstripe Bowl coming up on the 28th of December. Tune in starting at 7 a.m. for pregame coverage. Kickoff at 11. Do not miss a moment. Brought to you by Woodhouse. Greg Sharpe back with you on a Tuesday night. Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. Hope you enjoyed our conversation with Matt Davison. Together we win. There's really a good synergy right now, and I think we're going to talk about this more tomorrow night with Troy Dannon when he's in. Between athletics and 1890, that really wasn't the case a couple of years ago. It is now, which is good. You got everybody, as Matt kind of laid out, pulling in the same direction. That can only mean good things when you have good cooperation. Coaches say we need this particular individual, or we really need to try to secure this person, and then you have a collective that can go make some things and have it happen. So I feel good about that right now for Nebraska. I think all Nebraskans should do that. Again, go to that website that Matt threw out there for you if you want to be a part of it. They've had a very good week so far. The campaign lasts through Friday afternoon. It is a really interesting night for sports television. Got a couple college basketball going on, some of those games. You got a bowl game, the Scooters Bowl down in Frisco, Texas, which could be pretty entertaining by the end of the night. You've got this big golf match out in Las Vegas. They're playing it under the lights. Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau against Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler. It's kind of live versus PGA. I've been watching some of that. But Camden, you and Duke, you guys are locked into the NBA Cup Championship, which is this, I think it's the second year, right, for this in-season tournament that they've got going on?
Yeah, second year. I haven't paid a ton of attention to this point. Who won it last year? Lakers, right?
Yeah, do you remember? Lakers.
Yeah. And so I haven't paid a ton of attention up to this point, but I've caught a couple games.
Now, who's the matchup tonight? I know Duke had, I think he had it in the ticker, didn't he?
Yeah, Duke's got it.
Yeah, we got the Thunder and the Bucks tonight. Bucks are starting to heat up. They started the year pretty slow, and then Thunder, they had a hot year last year, and they keep it going now.
That's on ABC. So you got kind of a potpourri of things going on right now. Thunder are good. If they've not paid a lot of attention to the first kind of quarter part or third part of the season, the Thunder are good. If you guys follow the NBA way more than I do. If I said, give me your top three teams in the league right now, who would it be? Would the Celtics be one? Duke, I'll start with you. Give me your top three teams right now in the NBA.
Yeah, I think Celtics are one right now. I mean, they don't have the best record, but I feel like just power rankings in general, NBA champs last year. I'd go Celtics one, probably Cavaliers two. They got the best record in the league.
They got that great start, didn't they?
Yeah, they started undefeated for a bit, and they kept it going. Yeah. They beat the Celtics not too long ago. And then probably Thunder third. They're number one in the West for sure. So I think they'll win tonight for sure.
Duke, are the Lakers your team?
No, I'm a Clipper fan.
Oh, okay, because I knew you're from L.A. I'm surprised a little bit that you go with the Clippers. How about you, Camden? I know you're probably more of an MLB guy than NBA, but do you have an NBA team at your pick?
Yeah, my team's the Thunder. I like the Thunder a lot. I liked them when they had Durant and Harden and Westbrook. Yeah. That's why I started following them. And then, obviously, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's a superstar. So I like watching him a lot.
He is incredible. So right now the Thunder lead. Last score I saw was like 16-9. I'm not sure. I've updated my computer here for a little bit. But, yeah, so some cool stuff going on tonight. And I'm going to probably settle in and watch some of that Scooters Bowl. That should be a lot of fun to watch tonight. it's a couple of, you got a couple of decent teams in that game tonight. So a lot of folks for you to dive into on a kind of a rare Tuesday night here in the middle of December. Well, our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. We're back to wrap up tonight's show next.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun.
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat Modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series. Best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Welcome back. Final few minutes. Sports Nightly here on a Tuesday night. Tomorrow night, AD show. Troy Dannon in studio for hour number 1. Lots to talk about with the Nebraska Athletic Director. And then hour 2, Jessica will join us from Louisville. Full coverage of the Final Four for Husker volleyball. They're en route now. Their flight took off about an hour ago. Probably getting ready to land in the next 30 to 40 minutes in Louisville. They'll have mandatory practices and media sessions tomorrow for the Thursday night match against Penn State, who beat Nebraska in their only matchup this year. That was the last weekend of the regular season. And the earlier matchup, all ACC, with Louisville taking on Pittsburgh. So all ACC, all Big Ten. So you'll have an ACC Big Ten championship game on Sunday. But Jess will be having complete coverage for us all tomorrow night here on the program. Hour 1, Greg in Lincoln in Texas said, your guys' thoughts about the Dowdell transfer. We did talk about that last night. Don't like it. This guy scored 12 touchdowns for us this year. Did some really good things for Matt Rule, but I'm not going to totally close the door. Remember, Emmett Johnson kind of went out, put a toe in the water, and came back. I think that could still happen for Dante, but Nebraska still has to kind of slice numbers off the top end of this roster to get down to the 105. So you're still going to see some names that bother you when you lose guys to the portal. So there's going to be more to come. Just an uncomfortable time right now in sports, in college football, with what we're doing. And I think it'll be a busy offseason in tweaking some of these things that have been in place this year. And I think it'll also involve the playoff, tweaking some of the ways that they set the playoff up, which starts Friday night with that Indiana game at Notre Dame. All right, that's going to put a wrap on tonight's show. Thanks to Camden and Duke for steering the ship. By the way, someone in the chat room wanted to know who Duke's MLB team. It's the Dodgers. Camden, we know, is a Cardinal lover. So that covers those two teams right there. Thanks to both of them and all of you. Back tomorrow night with the ED in Hour 1. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare, groups, and individuals.